it's finally time to start getting this axle back together on the Monte Carlo. Everything is apart. We've ripped everything apart. We've even gone so far as to beat out all of the races from the axle for the pinion bearings. We have all of our new gears and all of our new parts are in. We have a new yoke because our drive shaft was destroyed. We haven't ordered the drive shaft yet. We're going to order the drive shaft after we take a measurement once we know where the yoke sits and when it's all together. This is the pinion that was in the car that was broken. There is no mistake in that. That is snapped clean. This pinion has 11 teeth on the pinion and 37 teeth on the ring gear. It is a 3:36 ratio. What we have prepped and ready to go in will be 11 and 41, and it'll be a 373 ratio. There's a size in between the two, 355, so we're not going radical. The car has a stock camshaft in it, so there's no need to go to 390 or anything into the fours. This will be a good ratio for this car. Before we set this up, there's something we always have to do on these if you want to set them right? The first part of setting up a differential is getting your pinion depth, figuring out where in the housing it's going to sit. There's always a specific measurement per application for doing this, and most aftermarket pinions will have a number stamped on them that coincides with this measurement to put this in an exact place, and then later on we'll just do side to side for the carrier, and we should land with a really nice wear pattern on the heel and toe. To set the pinion depth, we have to have this bearing on and off of here a bunch of times. There is a shim that goes behind here, and there is a whole shim kit, a pack of different shims that come with the bearing set just for reshimming this. But if we had to press this bearing on and off every time, we'd just keep destroying the bearing and we'd never get to use it. So what we've done to make this do this to set the pinion depth, there's a shim that goes in between these two, in between the bearing and the pinion, before the bearing goes on. So before we start, I like to buy an extra set of bearings, or if we can reuse the old bearings for doing this, that's great. You need a carbide bit set and a die grinder to open up the inside of the bearing just a little bit, and then you can use a hone to smooth it out when you're done. And you clearance it until it slides down all the way on and off by hand. And you do the same with the front. This way, we can easily assemble it, take our measurement, take it back apart, reassemble it, change our shims, reassemble it, take another measurement, and keep going until we get our shim right. Once we understand what shim we're going to use, then we have a brand new set of bearings that will press on this at the end. To take our measurement, we're going to use the Ratech tool. This is a special tool just for setting pinion depth on different differentials. The tool is specific to each differential, and for us, we're using it for GM 8.2. It's a cool little tool. It's got a little plastic nub that goes in the center pilot of the pinion, and I'll even show it to you. So we'll assemble the whole pinion like this from inside with the nut on it. We'll come around to the back to here where that little slot is, and then this tool will go right on it like this, and this tool will lock down until it sets down into one of the carrier bearings, and then we'll just take a measurement right here, and this will give us our depth. Nice and easy and simple. And it's actually, some people argue that this tool is a little bit better than the big universal tool, even though the big universal tool is a more robust way of doing it. This is so much more specific to just this axle that there's not a whole bunch of other different pieces to set up and different depths and stuff like that and all these different maths. It's very simple and straightforward. And this company, Ratech, has really made setting pinion depth an easy thing. All right, the first step is with the new bearings that we're not going to use yet. We need to press the races back into the diff housing. We're going to do that with a nice little appropriately sized tool. Goes right on there. Knock this into the housing. Once the races are set, we'll get to take our measurements.